All right, you guys, later this week you are going to be writing a literary analysis paragraph over that Equiano text you either started reading on Monday or will be reading on Tuesday, depending on what group you're in, A or B. So before we start drafting that paragraph, I want to review some things. This will be your no writing practice this week. So recognizing strong topic sentences, providing strong context for literary evidence. I call this quote introduction. So if you ever see me write like an IQ or a QI on your paper, that's what I'm referring to. And then finally, using strong reasoning to connect claims and evidence. That's your analysis. And if your teacher's going to weight anything on your rubric, it's going to be that analysis section because that shows your own thought. Okay, so the first thing is your claim in a single paragraph essay. So in a one paragraph essay, your claim is your topic sentence. So that should be the very first sentence in your paragraph. If you were to be writing a multi-paragraph essay with an introduction, your claim would be the last sentence of your intro. But for this writing assignment, again, it's going to be a single paragraph analysis, so it will be your very first sentence, okay? So your claim should always show the writer's view. It must be arguable. So let's look at this. Which is the most appropriate claim and why? So look at A. School uniforms strip away a student's identity. Does that show the writer's point of view? Yes, it does. Could someone disagree with it? Absolutely. There's plenty of people in the world who think school uniforms are great. Okay. B. This paragraph is going to talk about the connection between uniforms and identity. There's a couple of things that are wrong with this attempted claim. Number one, you never want to identify your writing assignment in your assignment. So never use language like this paragraph is going to be about or this essay is going to be about. You never need to do that. Additionally, it says the connection between uniforms and identity, but it never shows what our writer believes is the connection. So that would not be an appropriate claim. C, I believe school uniforms strip away a student's identity. While it does show the writer's view, you should never ever use these personal pronouns like I, me, you, us, our in your formal writing. Additionally, I know this is your belief because your name is going to be in your heading at the top of your paper. Okay? Moving on. Right, the next part is providing your quote introduction. So you have to provide context for your textual evidence. So you want to include the following: the plot, the speaker, and the listener. You have to give your reader a little bit of background about what you're discussing. You just don't want to throw in the textual evidence. That's very alarming. Okay, pretend that whoever's reading your paragraph is someone who has no idea what the assignment is, has no idea what the text is, etc. So context is the circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, or idea, and in terms of which it can be fully understood. You want your reader to understand what you're talking about. Again, assume that I am not your only reader, okay? So let's, out of these three, figure out which one is the best one. All right. A, the show says, comma, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E means you are, and Y-O-U-R means you're, okay? B, after fighting with Rachel, Ross condescendingly points out flaws in her writing by saying, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E means you are, and Y-O-U-R means you're. Finally, Ross says to Rachel, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E means you are, and Y-O-U-R means you're. So let's take a look at these. A, the show says. If you're the reader, you might be thinking, what show? What character in the show, right? That does not give enough information. So I would say, A is not great. Ross says to Rachel, let's look at C, because this is our second best one, but again, we can do better. Ross says to Rachel, okay, that is good, right? It says who's speaking, to whom he's speaking to, but it does not give us any like background to what's happening in the show at that moment. That's why B would be the best answer. After fighting with Rachel, he points out flaws in her writing by saying, right? That gives us a little bit of context. That tells us what was happening in the show. So that would be the best answer. All right. Finally, using your analysis to connect your claim and your textual evidence. So you have to connect, your textual evidence needs to connect to your claim. So in this case, you're going to be writing about how Equiano achieves his purpose through literary techniques. Okay, so you have to determine what his purpose is, and in your analysis, you'll be showing me how, that word choice, for instance, achieved his purpose. It has to connect to your claim, okay? It does not just simply restate the evidence. Do not just paraphrase what you just wrote in your quotation marks. And finally, it needs to show your original thought. That's why it's the most important. So let me show you an example. You probably read this book last year, right? This was Animal Farm. This is just an example. In this person's essay, they were using the simile, like the sun in the sky, for his or her textual evidence, right? Notice the citation, its last name, page number, in parentheses, the period goes at the end. We're determining which of these two provides the best reasoning. In this example, it says, this is a simile because he is comparing Napoleon to the sun in the sky by using the word like. A simile is a comparison that uses like or as. Okay, I promise you, I know what a simile is. So you do not need to define any of your devices for me. So you're specifically going to be looking at diction, imagery, and rhetorical appeals. You do not need to define any of those for me. I know what those are, okay? Additionally, look at this one. Like the sun in the sky. It just says, Napoleon is being compared to the sun in the sky. Well, obviously, because I just read that in your textual evidence. So that's not good enough, right? That's showing me no original thought at all. This option in green is much stronger, right? We're doing a little bit of analysis here. We're trying to determine why is he being compared to the sun in the sky. It says, light is often a symbol of hope, like the light in the sky that rises each day. Napoleon provides hope to the farm animals on a consistent basis. While this is completely illogical based on the truths of the farm, the animals are not smart enough to see through the pig's deception. Okay, so today's No Red Ink is going to test you on those 3 skills. I am going to be looking specifically for those when I grade your paragraphs this weekend. Okay, so make sure you really take your time and understand these skills before you start writing. Keep these in mind as you start drafting. Let me know if you have questions.